We are taking you out of bounds, New Mexico, here on the U Sports Report with a little bit of a Major League Baseball rundown of some games that took place on Sunday. We're going to find out what happened. Starting off, the Chicago White Sox taking on the New York Yankees. You're going to be happy about this, Kimbrey.
I know.
The Yankees win.
Yay!
Yes, yes.
About time, Yankees.
They are starting to pull it together. The Maverick man on the hot corner has definitely said that. They win 7-5. Mr. Gardner 3 for 4. Adrian Beltran, there he is trotting around for his home run, 1 for 3. A 3-run home run that put New York on the lead forever. Mr. McCann 2 for 4 on RBI with a home run, and Mr. Eaton 1 for 4, 2 RBIs, home run. Garcia was 3 for 4 with the RBI. Moving on, the Houston Astros taking on the much-hated Boston Celtics. I don't necessarily hate them, but I know Kimbrey, as a Yankees fan, is not pleased.
I think Khalil's got something against the Celtics, because this is the Boston Red Sox.
I keep saying
Khalil.
that. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't like any Boston team. The Celtics, the Red Sox, the Bruins, and definitely not the Patriots. I'm a Giants fan. Now, I'm not saying I'm like strictly a New Yorker fan, but they're all the same to me. They just suck.
Yeah, they do. I couldn't agree more. But, you know, that was the Boston Red Sox taking on Houston. I love to catch Khalil on his mistakes.
I know. I do that all the time. It's like the second time of the week. Hey, they're the Celtics to me. Those guys blow. They absolutely blow. Coming up, we had the hottest team in baseball, the Chicago Cubs, playing the Pittsburgh Pirates. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Pittsburgh wins.
Pittsburgh has been doing big things this year in sports, impressively for themselves. That's nice. Good for you, Pittsburgh.
That's right. Pittsburgh wins. Chicago still owns the best record in the league. Mr. Cole with the win. He's 4 for 3, and he had some interesting comments about the Chicago Cubs after the game. He says, you know what? They're actually not the best team in the league. There are many teams that are much better. Although at this current moment, Chicago Cubs have the best record in the league, Mr. Cole, the winner of that game, is adamant about the fact that Chicago is not, and he thinks that they are going to fade as the season goes on. Only time will tell.
I guess we'll see.
But in baseball, those are fighting words, and as we showed you earlier in the show, that really means something. Okay, coming up, St. Louis versus the Dodgers. The Dodgers out there in Chavez Ravine. St. Louis is playing. Mr. Carpenter gets a home run, 1 for 3, 1 RBI, a home run. Mr. Molina, Yadier Molina, on a pinch hit, 1 for 2, 2 RBIs that helped them pull out the lead. With the Dodgers, Mr. Seager had 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, and a home run. The Dodgers take a loss, but hey, if you ever been to Dodger Stadium in Chavez Ravine, get yourself a Dodgers dog. Win or lose, you win.
Very good to know. Good to know. Definitely going to have to make my way down to LA and watch a Dodgers game and get a Dodgers dog.
It is a lot of fun, and it's a good dog. You won't be hungry for days, and you might be in the toilet for a while, because it's good, but it's good, but it leaves an impression. Let's just say that.
Right.
Okay, the New York Mets taking on the Colorado Rockies. My New York Mets. Yes, I'm not a Yankees fan. I am a Mets fan, and it did not turn out well for us. Here are the Mets up 3-2, but a home run occurs. Mr. Rayburn coming in with the home run to put the game at a tie, ladies and gentlemen. No, actually, they take the lead. The 2-run home run gives them the lead, and that's exactly what they needed to win that game. Mr. Cespedes for the Mets had a home run, but that wasn't enough for the Mets to beat the Colorado Rockies, because the Rockies take the game 4-3. All right, that's it for the Major League Baseball rundown. We have something to talk about real quick. There's a lot of talk, particularly on SI.com, SportsIllustrated.com for those who don't know, about college football and realignment. We have so many conferences, and there's talk about making mega conferences in college football to kind of simplify things, to add to rivalries, to work out this system, because it seems now that conferences are all about getting paid, like we mentioned before, with the advent of having their own television leagues. Okay?
Yeah.
So I just want to run down some of the things that they're thinking about. For the Big Ten, in the East Division, they're thinking about having Indiana, which is already in, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, traditional powers, Penn State, Purdue, Ohio State, and Rutgers. In the West Division, they want to add Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Texas in the Big Ten, and Wisconsin. Very, very interesting. What do you think about Texas joining the Big Ten? and Kansas, both of these teams leaving the Big 12, joining the Big 10.
You know, does that mean that it will still be the Big 12 with only 10 teams at this point? You know, I think it'll be interesting. You and I talked before the show. I love the SEC. Being an LSU fan, I love it, but I also hate it because that's all that we really play against. We don't really get the opportunity to play against these other teams who fight tirelessly throughout the season to get those big wins and those great records. So I think it'll be interesting to mix things up a little bit, give everybody a little bit more competition.
I think it will. I think it will, because the Pac-16 is what they're calling it. Now, it was the Pac-10, now it's the Pac-12. Now they call it the Pac-16. This is what SI.com is projecting. Cal, Colorado, Oregon State, Stanford, Washington, Washington State, Utah. And in the South Division, Arizona State, Baylor, Houston, Texas Tech, TCU, UCLA, and USC. So they're stealing a bunch of squads from that. Now, mention the SEC. They're talking about having Oklahoma join the SEC. This is just very interesting to see if this really takes place. I don't know. What do you think about all this talk of realignment, teams switching conferences every few years because it's financially beneficial for them? It destroys traditional rivalries. It really makes things difficult in a geographical sense as far as having teams really travel a little bit further away than they're used to play some of their conference opponents, because you have to pay your conference opponents. What do you think about this?
You know, as much as I think it'll be really beneficial to see some new matchups, I think it'll be really different. It'll be weird to see these teams play against each other that have never played against each other. We'll probably see some big losses for some teams who have previously gone undefeated in their conference. We'll probably see some big heartache and a lot of teams having to face off against bigger and stronger opponents, moving Oklahoma into the SEC. The SEC is a very, very big and very, very tough conference. We've watched a few teams that recently joined or have been in the SEC for quite some time struggle to keep their records up. Florida, Tennessee, even Missouri has had a hard time with a couple of years keeping their records up in such a dominant conference. So I think it'll be difficult for Oklahoma at first, but maybe a great opportunity for some other teams to be forced to play new people. Yeah, we'll see what happens. This is all purely speculation at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, but I can tell you this: money and not tradition is going to make the final decision as far as how these teams realign and who goes where. Speaking of speculation, just real quick, guys, the preseason power rankings for college football, according to ESPN Magazine, LSU is #1. FSU is number 2. Oklahoma, Clemson, and Tennessee, all in the top 5. Tyler's top 5 were not accurate on ESPN's behalf, but I guess we'll find out as the season gets closer. Yes, we will. We will see what happens here at the U Sports Report. Coming up, the hot corner with the baseball man, the Maverick Man, up next on the U Sports Report.